Hello and welcome to all. The magic of sport is when a predicted rout turns into a historic victory. Indeed, during the races, some athletes have proven that nothing is impossible. Just imagine that Foria Gueï was able to win the 2014 European Championship despite the huge gap that separated her from her rivals in the last 100 meters, or that Andrew Lloyd managed to win the gold medal thanks to an exceptional comeback. These athletes are truly amazing. So, would you like to discover the 7 incredible comebacks during the races? Then make yourself comfortable. Here they are. In the eyes of the general public, Foria Gueï became famous on August 17, 2014, the day she won the 4x400 meters race at the European Championship in Zurich. However, the task was far from easy. Indeed, when her teammate, Agnes Rarolai, who was the third torchbearer, handed her the baton, there was a gap with the leading trio of Ukraine, the United Kingdom, and Russia that seemed impossible to close. Moreover, Patrick Montel, the commentator for France Television, did not fail to point this out. 300 meters from the finish, he announced that there will be no podium for the French 4x400 meters because we're not coming back here. And he wasn't the only one to think so. Foria Gueï was clearly behind, but she didn't let the gap widen any further. At the entrance to the last bend, Patrick Montel even acknowledged this by saying that Foria is giving it all she has, but unfortunately it won't be enough. But a few seconds later, commentators and the whole world witnessed a phenomenal straight climb where she caught up with her 3 rivals. Foria finally crossed the finish line 500ths ahead of Ukraine and barely 700ths ahead of Great Britain. A moment that can be watched over and over again, still wondering how she managed to achieve such a feat. Unsurprisingly, the video of Foria Gueï's lap has since been seen several million times on video sharing sites. The sprinter has become a viral athlete and the symbol of a sportswoman capable of sublimating herself for her relay. The Australian Andrew Lloyd may not be well known today, but he made sports history. And not without a reason. At the Commonwealth Games in February 1990, Andrew made an almost unreal comeback. Indeed, during that competition, in the last lap of the 5,000 meters, Andrew was quite far behind his competitors. Determined to be one of the first 5 athletes to cross the finish line, Andrew began to gradually get ahead of some runners until he reached 3rd place. At that point, he was behind Welshman Ian Hamer and Kenyan John Ngugi, who was leading the race. It was already a real achievement, but Andrew wasn't ready to stop on such a good path. Once on the straight, the Australian athlete miraculously managed to overtake Ian Hamer. However, he still had one last challenge, to catch up with John Ngugi, gold medalist at the 1988 Olympic Games, and a 5-time world cross-country champion. Luckily for Andrew, John had visibly tired towards the end of the race. So, taking advantage of this opportunity, he tried his best to overtake the Olympic champion. However, it seemed almost impossible. But in the end, Andrew Lloyd managed to cross the finish line first, only 0.08 seconds ahead. It was a truly extraordinary sprint. So, it's no mistake that since then Andrew Lloyd has become known around the world as the athlete who achieved a real feat. Before we continue the article, here's the question of the day: who currently holds the world record for the 5,000 meters? Is it? Option A, Sergei Bubka. Option B, Kenenisa Bekele. Option C, Gunder Hag. Write the right answer in the comments and we'll see at the end of the article if you were right. Ibrahim Jalen Gashu is not a sportsman like the others. This athlete, of Ethiopian origin, has managed to make a name for himself at the international level thanks to one of the most impressive performances ever. In the men's 10,000 meters at the 2011 World Athletics Championships, Ibrahim shone in the spotlight at Daegu Stadium in South Korea. Yet, it was impossible to have guessed during the race that Ibrahim would win the gold medal, simply because he was several meters ahead of the field. However, the athlete, who was determined to win at all costs, suddenly took a last-minute break in the race. While in the 4th position in the bunch, Ibrahim made an exceptional sprint and managed to overtake his first opponent. At that point, he had only 2 competitors ahead of him, the British Mohamed Farah and the Ethiopian Imani Merga. And the least we can say is that Ibrahim Jalen was ready to do anything to win this competition. So, he continued his race until he approached Farah first. The man, panic-stricken, turned around to look behind him as Ibrahim arrived at full speed. Running with all his strength, Farah could not prevent Ibrahim's fast and inevitable arrival. In the final seconds of the competition, Ibrahim Jaylan crossed the finish line first, overtaking Mohamed Farah by less than a second and Imani Merga by just over 5 seconds. This is undeniably one of the most amazing comebacks in racing history. Heather Dorinda has proven that the impossible is possible. In 2008, this University of Minnesota runner achieved an extraordinary feat. At the Big Ten Indoor Track Championships in the United States, Heather Dorinda led the field in the final round of the 600-meter race. Unfortunately, an incident occurred that almost caused her to drop out of the race. As the last 200 meters approached, Heather found herself on the ground, pushed by one of her opponents. As if that wasn't enough, one of the runners behind her trampled her in the face. Because of a fall like that, most athletes would have preferred to give up. Especially since Heather had found herself in the last position. But what she did next shook the crowd. Why? Well, instead of giving up, Heather decided to get up on the spot and try to catch up with all her competitors. Determined, the young lady showed extraordinary perseverance. The most amazing thing is that she actually managed to overtake all her opponents in a breathtaking final sprint. She won the competition. Since then, Heather Dorinda has not only become very well known throughout the world, but she is also a symbol of perseverance. In fact, countless people take her as an example because of her breathtaking comeback. The 800 meters is perhaps the most difficult race to master tactically. Some runners choose to wait for the last line, while others prefer to take the lead from the start of the race. American Dave Waddle adopted a tactic that was disconcerting for his opponents and the spectators. Indeed, in the final of the 800 meters at the 1972 Munich Olympics, Dave won the race, but not just any way. He chose to run in a very regular manner even if it meant falling behind the pack. When everyone saw the race, everyone thought he had been dropped, but the American started a dazzling comeback on the last lap. Little by little, he caught up and overtook several of his competitors by gaining 26 seconds every 200 meters. Once he approached the finish line, Dave ran as fast as he could and managed to finish his race first, passing Soviet Yevgeny Arzhanov and Kenyan Mike Boit by less than a second. That's quite a spectacular comeback. However, after his victory, Dave Waddle, a little in the clouds, even forgot to take off his lucky cap when the American anthem was played, which was very badly received. Nevertheless, this awkwardness was quickly forgotten with time, unlike his race, which remained forever engraved in the memories. New Zealand triathlete Bevan Docherty, a triathlon specialist, has a record of achievements that would make any athlete dream. But it is his victory at the New Plymouth Triathlon Cup in 2005 that is the most memorable. Indeed, during the last minutes of the competition, the athlete Chris Gemmell was in the lead. Confident, he probably thought he had every chance of winning the race. But it was without counting on Bevan's surprising comeback. Bevan came out of nowhere, ahead of all his opponents, leaving Chris Gemmell as puzzled as he was disappointed. However, there was no way he could catch Bevan, because this one made a prodigious sprint in the very last seconds of the race, crossing the finish line first. Unsurprisingly, the video of this almost superhuman finish quickly went viral and is still circulating in all social networks today. And for a good reason. This unexpected comeback is one of the most exceptional in the world. Mohamed Farah is a British athlete from Somalia who is now known throughout the world for his extraordinary achievements. And for a good reason. He is one of the most successful athletes in the world. He has 4 Olympic titles, 6 World Championship titles and countless European gold medals to his credit. But of all the competitions he has won, it is certainly the Rio 2016 Olympic Games that have made the most impression. The reason? Well, Mo Farah's performance was breathtaking. However, the British athlete initially tempered his ambitions and admitted that he did not feel like a favorite in Rio. And he was wrong. In the 10,000-meter final, Farah won the Olympic gold medal, maintaining his invincibility. However, the race didn't go as planned. At the age of 33 at the time, the Mogadishu native faced a great challenge. Indeed, in the first third of the race, Mo Farah fell heavily after contact with the American Galen Rupp. The champion immediately got up and took his place again, before taking off towards the Olympic title. After his incredible victory, Mo Farah said that when he crashed, he thought his dream was over and would never come true. But thinking about all the work he had done and especially his family, Mohamed Farah decided to get up and go all the way. And against all odds, he won the gold medal. We have to admit that his performance was as inspiring as it was surprising. Now it's your turn to tell us in comments which of these comebacks during races is, according to you, the most incredible of all? If not, the world record for the 5,000 meters is currently held by the Ethiopian Kenenisa Bekele with a time of 12 minutes 37 seconds 35, set on the 31st of May 2004 at the Fanny Blankers Cone Games meeting in Hengelo, the Netherlands. I hope many of you found the right answer.